Hello there friends, CS2 Live here. In today's video, IEM Katowice kicks off, Amouranth gets some competition, Valve finally fixes CS, and plenty of other exciting news from the world of CS2. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. And I think we shall start today's video with a wild and pretty sad story. Into the Breach just announced that they're stepping away from esports for a while. The reason? Turns out a staff member who was in charge of finances had been pocketing the money for himself. Yeah, that's the CEO and the founder of the org. So according to Smooya, the owner stole around $500,000 from his own org, leaving the players and the staff with nothing. Moreover, later the CEO himself admitted to burning through some massive amounts of cash for personal expenses, mainly on alcohol due to certain mental health struggles. As a result, Smooya, Keoz, Reiko, Redstar and Sinnopsyy are now left without the team. What a sad story. I mean, how much does that guy drink to spend $500,000 on only alcohol? Obviously he just made his life better and that's all. iBuyPower players are still banned, despite all the rumors. As you know, a couple of weeks ago or months, people were talking about iBuy players getting finally unbanned. In 2023, one of iBuyPower's legendary guys mentioned that his ban would expire in 2025, but there was no official information about the rest of the squad. After Steel's unban, people assumed that the others were free to compete as well, and the topic blew up across multiple sources. But the truth is, Steel was only unbanned because he personally reached out to Valve. The rest of the players never did, so their bans remain in place. This was confirmed by Note from the HLTV, and you can check yourself on Wikipedia, where their bans are still listed. So for now, Swag, Dazed and AZK still are not allowed to compete in Valve-sponsored events. Some people believe that Valve should finally lift their bans, like for example your favorite analyst Thorin, who straight up called Valve, I will quote, a bunch of selfish egomaniacs for refusing to forgive the iBuyPower players. I mean, guys, after all Thorin says, how he still gets invites to Valve events? I don't understand it. Anyways, my friends, what do you think? Should the iBuyPower players get unbanned after all these years, or do they still deserve the punishment? I mean, they're all like now 30-35 years old, so the whole unban thing is senseless, isn't it? Anyways, drop by in the comments below. And yeah, as well, don't forget to click the like button and follow our channel, because it really helps us to develop. Moving on, let's talk about the long-awaited update from Valve. It's finally here, although it's not as big as I expected. That's what she said. Let's anyways move on. Here we have the new premiere season first and foremost. And players who grinded the mode previously had received their medals. Also, Vertigo has officially been removed from the map pool and instead Train came in. Also, we have some minor, at first sight, balancing updates. The M4A4 and FAMAS are now $100 cheaper. So A4 now costs just like the silencer. FAMAS got a slight spray fix as well, making it much smoother to use. Also, Valve nerfed MP9, MP5 and MP7. These guns now have increased recoil, so no more running and gunning like a maniac. Also, AUG and SG scopes were adjusted, and now you can recolor them via the console commands. Also, the radar is now dynamic and it zooms out and in based on the movement, and most importantly, Valve finally patched the broken cosmetics exploit, like, you know, the pizzas, Among Us characters or random nonsense running around the map. And anyone who abused the glitch were banned. But of course, there's always a catch, you know? So Faceit just updated the rules, and now you need Prime status in CS2 to play. The goal is to get rid of Smurfs, they say. So yeah, if you wanna grind proper games and climb the ranks, you'll have to pay up, but fortunately not to Faceit, just to Valve. Also, Valve has officially revealed the 4 tournament organizers that will be hosting majors in the future. future, so the chosen ones are Blast, ESL, Starladder, and PGL. This basically means that IEM Cologne and other IEM events will turn into majors. Also, Perfect World is still eligible to run a major since they co-hosted one with PGL last year. Valve also introduced new advertising restrictions for major-related events. Any tournament that impacts the Valve rankings can no longer promote skin trading or gambling websites. Like, you know, we previously saw a lot of ads from traded.gg, but now there will be no more. This crackdown comes after the Copenhagen Major, where Valve started taking a much stricter stance on those types of sponsorships, and I guess it's for the best. Don't forget to write your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's talk about our favorite Amouranth before jumping into the IEM Katowice matches. You guys probably know about Amouranth's past and how she can so casually sponsor esports teams. Well, now her former industry colleague, another adult content creator, Eva Elfie, has shared her dream CS2 roster. So Eva picked Donk, Monacy, Robs, Cadian, and Perfecto. And you know what, guys? Unlike Amouranth though, Eva actually knows her stuff. She attended the HLTV Awards this year, was at the International in Dota 2, even interviewed talent players, and well, casually visits major esports events. Of course, she's unlikely to form this roster, but imagine this lineup in a show match. That'd be insane. I mean, it's balanced as hell, to be honest. And yeah, friends, I hope that you recognize the irony in my voice. I mean, obviously I know that she's just a face and a model for one not so good gambling website, and that's why she's in esports basically, but I thought it would just be funny for you to see it. Now, my friends, let's finally move to IEM Katowice. Let's quickly go over the opening stage and then dive into the first day of the main event. Right away, we had two major upsets on day one. Virtus.Pro lost to Pain. Absolutely no one saw that coming, but I won't really talk about that much. And the second upset was FURIA versus Imperial Female, another intense showdown that caught everyone off guard, to be honest. And here we will discuss a little more. This time Imperial Female put up an even better fight that they did against Navi, taking on FURIA on Mirage. And it seemed like a standard pick for FURIA. They even started strong with a 9-3 lead in the first half, but after switching sides, they just completely collapsed, almost as they were throwing on purpose. Imperial Female went on an insane 9-round winning streak, reaching the map point before FURIA. However, they refused to go down without a fight and took the game to the overtimes, where they somehow clutched the win, despite their horrible second half. The girls here were really good, some amazing clutches, some amazing moments, and oh my god, well, I enjoyed that map. Then came Dust 2, and here FURIA just dominated, 13-1. It just looked like after the heartbreaking Mirage loss, the girls just couldn't recover. But if there's one takeaway, it's that these women's teams are no joke. They've proven that they can compete against tier 1 teams, and opponents need to take them very seriously. And you know what? BIG did. In their next match, Imperial Female faced BIG, the German squad, and they were prepared. They learned from FURIA's mistakes and shut the girls down early, leaving them no room to warm up. So Imperial Female were eliminated, but they did it in style. Another surprising game was the showdown between Liquid and Wildcard, and it stood out for two reasons. Amouranth's team got completely obliterated, losing the second map 13-0. And, well, Nerds had an absolutely historic performance on T side. Just listen to this. He dropped 7.65 rating and 400 ADR, probably the highest rating in the whole CS2 history. Looks like Liquid are dead serious about making a statement in 2025. So after the opening stage, the teams that advanced were FURIA, Eternal Fire, 3D Max, Gamer Legion, Astralis, Team Liquid, Virtus.Pro, who came back strongly, and BIG. As you can see, no heroic on the list. And to be honest, guys, they lost it even worse than Imperial Female. No struggles, no fights, no battles, they just gave up. They were not prepared. Anyways, let's move on. The main stage kicked off in the most insane way possible. So we've got two groups, A and B, as always. In Group A, right from the start, Virtus.Pro just demolished G2. The Bears took down the Samurai in style. Inferno, Virtus.Pro's pick, started off rocky for them, but they pulled off a comeback in the first half and even took the lead 7-5. And after the side switch, G2 strung together 4 solid rounds, but then they made a crucial mistake, one that VP immediately punished them for. And then the Bears just took Inferno. G2 picked Mirage, but their T-side was a complete disaster. They couldn't do anything in the attack. I mean, was this the Nico effect, or was Virtus.Pro just that prepared? Luckily for G2, switching sides changed everything. Suddenly, VP were the ones that couldn't make any work on offense. Then the game went to overtimes, where Virtus.Pro once again proved their resilience, closing it out and sending G2 to the lower bracket. I mean, Virtus.Pro have my respect. I remind you that they lost to Pain in the opening match, but since then, they were just miraculously good. All five of them, they just know what to do, and they do it, and they win so easily. They, no joke, look like a serious title contender. Next up, Eternal Fire versus Falcons, and once again, it was a disaster for the Sheikh's super team. Despite their multi-million-dollar roster moves, Falcons failed to put up a fight against the Turks. Suntaris and his squad just ran over them, first on Inferno and then on Train. Not exactly the start Falcons were hoping for in 2025. And things are getting only worse. After this loss, they drop into the lower bracket, and they will face G2 in an elimination match. Nico versus m0NESY. We will definitely cover it in the next video, so don't forget to follow the channel. I mean, regarding this match, I don't even know what to say. Falcons were just bad, and that's all, while Eternal Fire were on peak of their form. Poor Nico. Anyways, next up was 3D Max versus Vitality, and I would have skipped this match if not for one moment. It felt more like a 1v1 between Gravity and Apex. Throughout the game, they kept throwing shots at each other, turning the match into a real trash-talking spectacle.
Flimsy! Flimsy! Oh! Tu prends la souris, tu cliques! Tu cliques!
With the closer.
Flimsy, t'es trop nul, frère! Tu pues la merde! Baisez ça! Check, frère!
Kills
Eh ouais,
on the
frère, tu
hold.
fais quoi? Oh, réveille-toi, là! Oh! Eh, regarde-moi! T'es nul!
And it's
Putain,
a
vous êtes
flawless
cramés.
defense.
On était 17 en B, même Mataran, elle était en B! Putain!
The hopes of the rising French are repelled.
After the match, Apex said it was an amazing experience, which reminded him of the old-school French LANs. But besides that, it wasn't that intense, only maybe on the first map because it had triple overtimes. Back and forth on Inferno, and it was pure chaos, and even 1 extra overtimes wasn't enough. Neither was 2, it took 3. And eventually Vitality clutched it out. On Nuke, the second map, it was also pretty tense, but nothing much to show. A string of rounds here, a couple of rounds there, and in the end, Vitality took over. Zaivu and m0NESY just showed some high-quality CS. Now 3D Max will face BIG in the lower bracket, after BIG dropped down following a loss to FaZe Clan. Speaking of, the surprising part about FaZe versus BIG was that FaZe didn't just steamroll their opponents like they usually do, they actually struggled. This might still be a side effect of their recent roster changes and the huge role shifts in the team. Despite that, Rain soloed, he carried. He had an insane performance, which helped FaZe secure the win. Now let's move to Group B. It only saw 2 matches played, one of which was Na'Vi versus FURIA, and as expected, Na'Vi came out on top, without much trouble to be honest. Nothing really much to show even, maybe besides another masterclass from BIT. Meanwhile, the second match of Group B was Mouse versus Gamer Legion, and it was a surprisingly tough battle. While most people expected an easy win Legend for Mouse, things didn't go as planned. The action kicked off fast on Inferno. In round 3, Brawlan pulled off an ace. But, my friends, just 2 rounds later, Torji answered with an ace of his own. It looked like Mouse had all the momentum, but Gamer Legion didn't back down. They tied the first half with some pretty strong moves. And after switching sides, Gamer Legion took complete control, quickly reaching the map point. Moments later, they took Inferno. Next was Mirage, Mouse's pick. And there, Gamer Legion started strong. They were storming 7-1, without much resistance, to be honest. At some point, Mouse finally woke up and stabilized a bit before the halftime, but GL still led 8-4. After switching sides, Mouse won 7 rounds in a row, looking ready to force a decider. But just when it seemed that Mouse had took control, Gamer Legion struck back. They won 3 consecutive rounds and just closed out the series 2-0. What's crazy is that Gamer Legion haven't dropped a single map this tournament, despite recently losing their best player and making roster changes. A huge part of their success is the coach, Ash. He's been the talk of the scene lately. My friends, how do you like the IEM Katowice results? How do you like the tournament? Please let us know in the comments below. Also, if you haven't seen, we've tried a new format in our previous video. If you'd like, you can watch and leave a comment there because it really helps us to develop. Also, don't forget to drop a like right now and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot. We have a lot of IEM Katowice going on. I'm not saying goodbye for a long time though. See you soon.